Senior Moments, sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Good morning. This is the Senior Moments Show, and this is your host, Sid Roederer, and Bruce Lee is here today, and I wish you could see him. He was just acting up a little bit over there on his microphone because today he's not co-hosting with me. He is actually our guest because we want to talk a little bit about home care today. Bruce, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I think there's a Toby Keith song, I Want to Talk About Me, or something like that. Sid always sings it to me, but today she's going to give me a chance.
Yeah, no, I don't do singing. But let's talk really quick about our sponsor, of which Bruce and I are also members of. Our sponsor for the show is the Empowering Seniors Group, which is a group of professionals that has dedicated their time and efforts to provide this radio show and information to seniors, their family members, and really anybody who cares. If you would like to learn more about the Empowering Seniors Group, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info. You can email us at empoweringseniorscv@gmail.com, and the CV stands for Cache Valley. Or lastly, if you have any suggestions for this show, anything we haven't touched on that you'd like to have us talk about, or a guest you'd like to have us invite, you can call me personally at 435-512-6406. So Bruce, let's dig a little bit into this. And for the listeners that maybe haven't met you as an individual, let's talk a little bit about your background, why you do what you do, and why ComForCare?
Okay. Well, if you haven't heard me talk about my company before, I think we've talked about it probably, 3 or 4 or 5 times at this point. How many years have we been doing this now?
I think we're going on 5 years.
Is it 5 years?
I know.
Wow, that's crazy. Time flies. And so I guess that's not too much if it's once a year. So we try to, I want to back up and talk about the Empowering Seniors Group to preface this,
okay.
Because the Empowering Seniors Group, of which Sid and I are both part of, the purpose of that group was to bring information to people so that they can make choices, do it in a way so they can understand what professional services are out there, but not doing it in a way that would solicit people. And so, this isn't an infomercial or something like that that's intended to generate a bunch of calls to our business, although we don't mind calls to our business. But the purpose of the show is really to help people understand what the services are, be educated about what their options are. But oftentimes the way that that's presented is in a very sales way with some type of expectation at the end. And we want to not do that. So I will preface my comments with, I'd like to be educational about what home care is and about what our company is, so that as people are thinking about where they are in their lives and what's going on, they can make a choice, whether it's our company or a different company. They understand how home care works, and that they can properly use it. So I guess maybe just start there, because that really is the purpose of what we're trying to do.
Well, exactly. And maybe I should pipe in at that point in time for people that have maybe not followed us and don't know about the backstory. We too got together and founded the Empowering Seniors Group exactly out of what you do for a living and I do. With the background I had with my grandparents and just observing that with seniors, oftentimes when the time comes that some decisions need to be made because things need to change, people are overwhelmed with the work, or there is any form of dementia involved, things like that. Oftentimes the children or the other family members have to make quick decisions. And I've just found in my own family that there wasn't the abundance of information there. And that's what got us together and drove us to try and find a platform where we could talk about all these things that are out there that seniors and their family members don't know about, and hopefully that way help the community and people to make good choices for the seniors in their lives.
That's our hope. So I hope that our listeners are finding value with guests that we have on, even if it's us. so they get some information that they can use and learn some things. I will say I love what I do, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to help people. And as I think about what it is that we do, we provide home care, but what we really do is we help people, and we get to help them live a better life. And in some cases, in some circumstances that might be very challenging, we get to come in and make a difference. And I love that. I also have another opportunity to sit on a board, which is the Cache Valley Caregiver Coalition. And I wanted to preface some of what I say about home care, about some of the things that happen in the community of people that are providing care for their loved ones, because that's really where we enter oftentimes, is when someone's getting tired or they're just not sure if someone's safe. But with the coalition, and for all the wonderful family caregivers that are out there that are caring for a loved one, a husband or a wife, a child or a parent, that is a difficult, or can be a difficult task, and it's a labor of love, but it can be a labor of frustration. It can be very, very tough. And I've equated it to we live in a great pioneer valley, and there's lots of pioneer stock here, and people work really hard, and they take care of their responsibilities, and sometimes within care, what that looks like is they just go really to the nth degree to provide the care for someone they've made a commitment to. And that can burn them out. And so I don't know if I'm going to have enough time to give this whole story before the break, but I want to start it anyway. And you can stop me, Sid, if I'm getting too far. But if you think about a really great athlete who is well-trained and wants to run the Boston Marathon, if they were to do that and train and run, and let's say they won the marathon, but right after they ran the marathon, they had to turn around and run another one. And then they had to turn around and run another one, and then another one, and then another one. No matter how well-trained that athlete is, eventually they would break down. And caregiving can be like that too. No matter how compassionate a person is, at some point, it's going to be more than they can handle. And a lot of times we see that with people. And I like being able to help them, to give them permission to get help.
Absolutely. And I mean, just on a side note here, I mean, from what I observe, it kind of sneaks up on you. We've talked about this before. In the beginning, it's maybe just little things. It's, stopping in, making sure the parents eat properly. Then you're starting to see things that aren't happening in regards to cleanliness and body hygiene, all those things. And then it explodes into this, as you said, just mountain and overwhelming. But we've got to take our first break, so maybe I want to offer to our listeners to get out a pen and paper. When we come back, we'll make sure to have the phone number for ComForCare. If you have any questions for them, you could call them. This is the Senior Moments Show. We're going to take a little break. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Oh, it seems like yesterday I was playing with my kids on the playground.
Seems like yesterday I was building a treehouse in the backyard.
Time goes by too fast, but there is something you can do to ensure you're taken care of down the road. I'm Tracy Ferris with Quality First Insurance. A long-term care insurance policy is something we all need as we get older. If you wait until you need it, you're too late. Let me help you understand the options and benefits of long-term care insurance. Call me today, 435-752-0101.
Did you know that one of the greatest threats to our quality of life is a fall? 1/3 of Americans 65 and older, and 1/2 of those over 80 will fall this year. Many will never be the same again, and some will never return to their homes. This is Bruce at ComForCare. One of the ways we can help people stay in their home is through our free in-home fall protection survey. Let us help you identify these fall risks. Call us at 754-7676. ComForCare, 754-7676.
Is your pharmacy closing? You have a choice of where to transfer to. May we suggest Reed's Pharmacy in Hiram? Reed's Pharmacy was named Best of Northern Utah, Silver Medalist Pharmacy. They have been open for 52 years and offer free prescription delivery to all of Cache Valley. Just stay home and they will bring your prescription to you. Need help remembering to take your meds? They have a free bubble packing service for convenience. For more information, call Reed's Pharmacy today at 245-DRUG.
Now that all the kids are gone, There's more house than we can handle.
This whole back isn't quite what it used to be.
That's not the only thing. But anyway, the kids say, put it online.
Yeah, but I can hardly operate the Facebook, let alone list our house.
Hi, this is Sid Roeder with Achievement Realty.
There are big advantages when working with a realtor, and I have special experience working with seniors. Let me earn your trust. Call me at 512-6406. Then list it, sell it, and move on.
This is Brian Erickson for the Sunshine Minute. Each day, our nurses, CNAs, cooks and servers, housekeepers, laundry staff, music, recreation therapy teams, office staff, receptionists, and many more arrive around the clock. These heroes show up ready and willing to serve and protect our residents and clients. We are so grateful to our dedicated team. On behalf of the Board of Sunshine Terrace Foundation and our community, thank you to all of our employees for keeping us safe. We bring more to life together.
Welcome back to the Senior Moments Show. This is Sid Roeder, your host, and Bruce Lee is here with me today. He's typically co-hosting, but today we're going to talk about the industry he is in, home care. And before we went to the break, I did mention to our listeners, if they do want to call ComForCare and get an idea on the services you provide, that we would give them your phone number. Bruce, would you lead in with that?
I will. I guess I'll do it with an apology, which is I'm guessing that everybody just listened to ads and they probably heard my phone number on one of those ads, but I'll give it again if they want to meet with me or have questions. Our office number is 435-754-7676, and our office is just out in North Logan, so we're close by to everybody.
That's awesome. Well, Bruce, let's talk a little. Before we left for our first break, we were talking a little bit about how it builds up for people usually. Let's talk a little bit about what you call a caregiver burnout. Yeah,
I wanted to finish that thought. I kind of didn't really get to give that whole idea that I was trying to communicate. Before we went to break, we were talking about the marathoner who just runs and runs and runs and runs and runs. And I wanted to make the point that sometimes a caregiver thinks they can handle it and it's going to be fine. That, a person with just a supernatural ability to have compassion. That's equating the really great, well-trained runner, right? I mean, if I just am really at the top of my game, even in that circumstance, there's going to be a limit for what I can handle. And with caregiving, it is a relentless task. And depending on the needs of the person that is requiring care, it doesn't stop. It never stops. It's there when you wake up. It's there all day. It's there when you go to bed. It's there at night, and it's waiting for you the next day. And the people that we work with care very much for their family member. They love them, and they want to do well by them. The thing to remember is sometimes that doesn't mean they should be the caregiver all the time. In fact, if you don't give yourself a break, you're probably not a good caregiver, meaning you can't be at the top of your game. You can't be the person you want to be as a caregiver because you're just physically unable.
Right. I mean, even with, thinking back of having smaller children as a parent or as a mom and stay-home mom specifically, I mean, I always realized I needed some time to recharge. And I think sometimes we forget that when we commit to taking care of our seniors, that you do need to carve out time to recuperate so you can provide your family members with a good service.
Yeah, it really does work that way. You have... if you don't get a chance to step back occasionally and do something that you want to do, or just even maybe sit down for a couple hours and watch TV, if that's what you want to do, I don't know what it is for different people, but whatever it takes to get your ability to come back and re-engage, that's a really important principle that I think gets lost on a lot of people because it does sneak up on them. They don't realize what's happening, and all of a sudden they're in the thick of it. And they're kind of stuck and they don't know where to go. And they've already asked for help from their neighbor or their kids, and they just feel like there's no place else to go. And so when those things happen, sometimes we get a phone call. And that's, again, one of the reasons why I love what we do, because I know that a service like ours is one that can provide that. And it's more than just coming in and, cooking and cleaning. I mean, those are things that we do, but it really is about that recharge and helping people to be able to re-engage with their lives. And not only that, for the person that we're providing care for, same thing, right? Maybe they need a break from the other person even. And they also get to recharge a little bit. And depending what's going on, they just get a different experience for a couple hours.
So I guess what I'm always hearing when we're talking about that subject is that the beauty is that you can assess very individually what is the best thing to get needs filled. I mean, by the caregiver and also by the person that's being cared for. I mean, it's so adaptable in regards to whether it is more the cleaning bits or just being there or maybe spending some quality time, maybe taking the senior out for a drive or going for an ice cream or something, an activity or the doctor visits. I mean, whatever the caregiver has, maybe the hardest time to provide and the person getting the care will receive.
Yeah, it's people ask me, there's always two questions I get. How much does it cost and what do you do? And those are good questions. Those are important questions. What we do is not, the tests that are involved, that is what happens, I guess, when you come in. But really what we're trying to do is provide an experience for people and use those things. And so it's more of how do we apply that to a person's particular situation. And this may be cliche, but everybody's different and every family situation is different. And even if people look the same, it's different still. And so I think if you think about your own family circumstances and situations, you think, yeah, I'm like my neighbors and we have some similarities and stuff, but we're different. My mom this or my dad this or my husband this or my wife this, and it's just different. And so it takes our ability to be able to come in and work with the family to assess the situation and figure out how to take the tools that are there and apply that to their circumstances to make their lives better in the way that they like.
Exactly. So let's talk a little bit before we head into our second break, Bruce. Let's talk a little bit about the process. So, somebody calls in and asks you those questions. What's the next step?
Yeah, really what I like to do is we don't charge for this, but I like to go sit and visit with the family so they can meet me and they get a chance to talk with me and ask questions, and I can see what the environment of the home is and just work with them. The next step is to really start that custom process. And so that's a good place. Usually, again, once you get past the first questions of what do you do and how much does it cost, those are the questions that you don't know what else to ask. The other questions are way more important. And I don't even know what they're going to be until I have a chance to sit down with the family and see what's going on.
So do you, what's maybe some of the things that can I even ask that clients have maybe asked for that you hadn't heard before, requests that it was maybe specific to a particular senior and their hobbies or something? Can you remember or talk about anything?
Well, I know we're coming up in our break, so maybe we ought to lead back in with that when we come back for a break. But I can give you some examples of some things that are maybe fun that we've done that you might not think that a service would do.
Okay, that sounds great. Well, again, we're coming up on our second break here. This is the Senior Moment Show. Again, if you'd like to learn more about our sponsor, the Empowering Seniors Group, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info. We're going to take a little break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
When it comes to successful aging, eating well matters. Staying physically active matters. Getting socially engaged matters. Living alone, aging alone, it's harder to consistently do that. Hi, this is Chris Grohl with Pioneer Valley Lodge, where we make it easier to do those things every day. Our mission at Pioneer Valley Lodge in North Logan is to help seniors live better, age more gracefully, and stay independent for as long as possible. Pioneer Valley Lodge, an independent living community for seniors.
This is Mark Thurston from White Pine Funeral Services. On behalf of all of us here at White Pine, we want to thank the community of Cache Valley for your support this past year. Thank you for selecting us as a silver winner for the Best of Northern Utah. We look forward to many more years of working with you here in our community. We know you have a choice, and we hope you will consider White Pine Funeral Services. If you have questions about cremation, funerals, or planning ahead, please contact us or visit whitepinefunerals.com.
White Pine Funeral Services, here when you need us most.
Hi, this is Bruce with ComForCare. One of the ways we help loved ones stay in their home is by assisting with daily tasks. These may include bathing, meal preparation, medication reminders, and housekeeping. We even help with shopping, transportation, and errands. Most of all, we offer a trusted level of care. Let us help you live your best life possible with ComForCare. This is Bruce, and you can call me at 754-7676. ComForCare, 754-7676.
Whether you have a small business, large corporation, or sole proprietorship, remember Cook Martin Polson has provided quality accounting services since 1977. At Cook Martin Polson, they believe you've earned it, and they're going to help you keep it. Take a minute right now to call 750-5566. That's 750-5566 to set up your tax appointment and let Cook Martin Polson show you how to keep the money you have earned.
This is Jared Ripplinger with Cook Martin Polson. You've worked hard for your money. Let us help you keep it.
If you're retired or plan to retire soon, will you outlive your money or will your money outlive you? If you don't know the answer, I can help. Hi, I'm Patty Bartholomew, a financial consultant with Parsonex Securities. If you have questions about your financial plan or just need a second opinion, call me today at 435-227-5556.
Investments are not FDIC insured, nor are they deposits of or guaranteed by a bank or any other entity, so they may lose value. Investors should carefully consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the funds. This and other important information is contained in each fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, which can be obtained from a financial professional and should be read carefully before investing. Securities offered through Parsonex Securities, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC, 8310 South Valley Highway, Suite 110, Inglewood, Colorado, 80112-303-662-8700.
Welcome back. This is the Senior Moments Show. I'm your host, Sid Roederer. Today, Bruce Lee, who is typically my co-host, is visiting with me because we're talking about his business, which is ComForCare here in North Logan, servicing Cache Valley. Bruce, we've been talking a little bit before we headed into the break about some stories that you might be able to share, some requests clients have had of services for you to provide. And I am a little bit curious. What are some of the things that people maybe don't think about to ask for?
Well, here's the thing about home care. It's so personal, right? I mean, the experiences between the people we care for and the caregivers are just unique, and there's lots of neat things that happen. So here's one that I share with people as we bring on staff to help them understand, what we're looking for in our staff to try to get the right experience for the people that we work for. Because, we're in the office and our caregiver is out with the client. And so we're not going to be there to oversee everything that they do. But we want them to have great experiences. So anyway, we had a caregiver and a client, and this particular client was bedbound. And I'm not quite sure how they figured this out, but they did. So it turns out that the client liked musicals, and the caregiver had happened to act in some. And so somehow they figured this out. And so the caregiver dresses up in full costume and goes to see the client and sings show tunes. Wow. Now, those types of experiences, they're not things that I can direct, right? That's a culture, that's a personality, that's an environment that we want to foster so things like that can happen. But I will tell you, now that caregiver, this was a little while ago, and that caregiver doesn't work for me anymore. She's since been married and has moved on to a different state. But I would bet that if you went and talked to her and said, do you remember, and asked about that experience, that for the caregiver, even, that was a life-changing experience that they will always remember. And for the client, same thing, right? And so those types of experiences, those types of opportunities to do things like that, those are the things that I love. And I don't know how to, that's not something you write on a form. I don't hire for those types of things. But when they come up and the opportunity presents itself, then that's what we want to do. So for somebody, it might be they just haven't been able to go to get an ice cream without asking permission. And so it could be as simple as that. Or, I don't know, let's sneak off to Crystal Hot Springs. Or daughters out there, don't listen, but if you don't let your parents have chocolate and they want it, well, we're going to take them. and so things like that, we don't want to ask permission for those things. We want to just be able to do it. And And we get to bring that back to people if they haven't had it in their lives, instead of, hey, would it be okay if we did this or that? Is it okay? Nah, let's just go do it, right? Because that's what we want to be able to do, those types of things.
Well, and I mean, your motto that your company has, maybe I'll have you quote with that, because that reflects it.
Well, that drew me in for sure when I was looking at this business and looking at this particular company. So the tagline for ComForCare is live your best life possible. And that's just an idea that, as I think about it for people, and not just for our clients, but for our staff, we want that for everyone, right? I mean, I want, regardless of the challenges that a client has, I want them to be able to live their best life possible. So I can just really get behind that. And then I want the same thing for our staff. And so as they go out and have experiences with our clients, I want them to live their best life possible. And if we're successful in helping those things to happen, then we really have some cool experiences.
I'll second that. I'm pretty amazed. So, yeah, you do. We're coming up on the end of our show, sadly, but I do know you well enough that I know that you hire people looking for certain traits. Do you want to talk about that for a minute?
Meaning, what kind of people do we look for when we're hiring?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, another question I often get is, are your caregivers CNAs? And we have several caregivers that are CNAs. I would say the majority are probably even CNAs. And I love CNAs, and that's an important training and certificate. Not all of them are. It's probably not what I look for when I hire. If a person with a certificate like that comes in, they still just might be a candidate. They're not necessarily going to be an employee because we're looking for something else. Now, if they have the something else and a certificate, wonderful. If they don't have the certificate and they have the something else, I'm more interested in that. And we'll go get a certificate if that's what we need to do. But I believe that, again, a caregiver that recognizes that a person would benefit from hearing show tunes sung to her and that caregiver is willing to do that, that's something else, right? And it's hard to articulate exactly what that is, but I think I know it when I see it when we're interviewing.
Awesome. So is it worth mentioning before we end our show that if somebody felt their heartstrings moved and feels called into a position like that, it might be worth checking in if you have an opening?
Yeah, give us a call. We love people that feel, it's such a fulfilling opportunity to come in and do something like this. And so, yeah, if you're feeling like you might want to explore that part of your soul, then 435-754-7676. We'd love to have you.
Thank you, Bruce. It was great to talk to you today. This is the Senior Moments Show. We're at the end. I hope you tune in again next week.